Hey guys, Roxy Sims here, and I have another speed build for you today. Today I am building a base game only mid-century modern home. That's right, I am going base game only today. So not too long ago I made a base game only cottage, and to my complete shock and surprise, it was actually really fun to build with only base game. Like, what? No, but really, it's actually pretty great. And I've really been trying to do more base game builds. And because I know not everyone has every pack, I have every pack because I like to use the excuse, well, I have a Sims channel, I have to get every pack. But really, it's just the addiction. There's something actually really fun about limiting the packs that you use. And to be perfectly honest, I think it's actually easier to build only using base game. There are so many fewer things that you have to scroll through and choose from. It really does make it quite simple. And the challenge of it really does up the fun level for me. There are some types of builds that I for sure wouldn't want to only use base game, but some of them really lend themselves to using only base game, and I would say a mid-century modern home and like that cottage I made. So if you either go like really traditional or mid-century modern or just regular modern, those are two styles that I think you could really easily use only base game, because those are really the style of the items that you get in only base game. Probably because if you think back to when Sims 4 first came out, the only two worlds that we had were Willow Creek and this world, Oasis Springs. Willow Creek lends itself really well to traditional kinds of buildings, and Oasis Springs lends itself really well to modern buildings. And there's, a little mixture of both in each, but I would say mostly it's either traditional or very modern in those two worlds. So, it makes sense why those are the two types of builds that would be pretty easy to do with only base game. The color scheme that I went with for the interior of this house is kind of like an olivey green color and then kind of like a goldeny orange color, which I must admit is the same color scheme that I used for my last mid-century modern build, but I almost can't get away from that color scheme when I build in mid-century modern style. It's just so mid-century modern, that color scheme, and so I'm fighting it. My next one has to be a different color. It really, really does. I don't know, maybe blue and yellow. I think blue and yellow would be great as well. Sometimes I do think that choosing a color scheme is kind of difficult in The Sims 4. It used to be so easy. I was spoiled majorly by The Sims 3, because we have create a style, and you can change literally any of the decor into any color or design that you want. It was wonderful, you guys, and it made using different items so easy, because it didn't matter if it didn't match the color scheme that you're going with. You could just make it that color. So in Sims 4, it is quite a bit harder to do that, because one, we don't have creative style, but I also feel like there is a lack of color options in a lot of ways. The number of swatches that we have, I wish were doubled on every single item, because I find that so hard. I'll want to use something and it just doesn't match everything else, and I'm like, no. So that is one request that I have. I wish there were more, or I wish you could kind of pick and choose, on a bed. I wish, you could choose, oh, this is the color of the comforter, but then I can change the wood tone of the bed frame. Wouldn't that be so nice? I did pretty much choose the color scheme of the entire house based on that rug in the living room. As soon as I placed down that rug and I saw that color swatch, like, oh yeah, this is the color scheme of all of it. And because I really was trying to stay away from green and orange, but then that rug just sealed the deal. I was like, well, I wasn't going to use those colors, but now I am because I have to use the rug in this color swatch. I do that quite a lot though, as I'll base the design of an entire house based on just one item. You know, you just gotta do that sometimes, and I do it quite a lot. I do that at home too. Like, I'll see one painting and I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm basing it all on this one painting, the whole room. So I like doing that in real life and in The Sims. Oh, there's something that I've been wanting to share with you guys. It's not a big deal or anything, but it's exciting stuff to me. I just got a new car. Yay! Now, I say new. It's not actually new. It's new to me. It's, a few years old. And, oh man, I could not be more excited about this car. I'll just sit and stare at it sometimes. I'm so happy about it. And I gotta tell you why. It's because of my old car. My old car, it was falling apart. For years, my husband has been trying to talk me into getting me a new car. But I really don't like spending that type of money. Especially if I don't need to. Like, if I don't absolutely have to, I am not interested. Like, no, thank you. And so he's been trying to talk me into it, and I'm like, no, please don't. I'd rather keep the money or use it for something else. And so he won though. Just because, like I said, my old car falling apart, absolutely falling apart. Everything that's plastic inside the car is broken, and as it's broken, it kind of like, the plastic kind of like will bump, and make noise, like da 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 da, in the car, and that just like slowly will mess with your mind, drive you a little crazy. And so that's nice not have to deal with anymore. Also, there was this like plastic piece on the seat, and it's basically where you move the seat back and forth, and it was broken, but it would poke into my leg, so every time I would be driving, it's just sitting there stabbing me in the leg with a piece of broken plastic. So that got quite annoying as well. Another thing is that I live in the Midwest, it snows, it gets icy and things. And this car was very, very weak. My old car, very weak. Didn't have, four-wheel drive or anything like that. And the least bit of winter weather, and I was stuck at home. Like, no way of getting out of my driveway. That car could not handle ice or even rain. Even if it was heavily raining, did not handle that very well at all. I've almost gotten in wrecks before because it was just like raining and it would just slip around. Absolutely terrifying stuff. One other thing that was wrong with that car is that the tires always went flat. And it really doesn't make a lot of sense because we would change the tires all the time, thinking that it had to be the tires. What else could it possibly be other than the tires? And so we had them changed multiple times, and they would still go flat. And so then we would take it in to a different place that the one that put on our tires. And we would say, hey, is there something wrong with the tire? Is there a hole poked in it or something? And they would inspect the tire and they say, no, it's perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with it at all. And so there's kind of no explanation why it couldn't keep air in the tires. And it would be quite often too, like multiple times a week sometimes, especially when it was cold outside. And we even got like all terrain, like all-weather tires, like the best tires you can get for that, and it still could not keep the air in the tires. So frustrating, because I would be getting up to go to work. I'd get outside to leave, and then I'm like, well, gonna be late to work today because there is a flat tire. So frustrating and unexplainable. It's so weird, and I have no idea why, but it did happen many times. So after all this, I still was not convinced. I'm like, no, I don't really need a new car. This one is okay. But then all of that changed when recently, every time I would try to start it, it would kind of have a little problem, you know? Wouldn't start up right away. Sometimes it wouldn't start at all. After, you know, a couple tries it would start. And then the transmission is starting to have problems. It would have problems like, you know, getting into a different gear and stuff. And so then I was like, well, now I need a new car. You know, because I am not picky. I am not picky at all when it comes to cars. I don't need the best of the best. I really don't need the best of anything. I just want the car to get me from point A to point B. And the fact that the car could barely do that, that was the last straw, you know? That was the deciding factor. I'm like, okay, I succumb. Let's just go get a new car. So, yes. So this one that I got is a lot bigger car. It's a V6. It is a all-wheel drive car. So hopefully it can get me out in the winter time. It's pretty. So I am beyond excited about it. And it starts up. And it doesn't have transmission problem. I'm very happy about it. Well, I guess we should get back to the build, wouldn't you say? I've only been talking about my car for forever. So let's get back to it. As you can see, I've put a pool in. It is Oasis Springs after all. Very perfect world for a pool. I don't actually build in Oasis Springs very much at all. I don't hate Oasis Springs. It's just not my favorite, you know? I am in love with Windenburg and Brindleton Bay. I can't decide which one of those two worlds are better. And they do have quite a lot of lots between both of them. So I will say I'm kind of partial to those two, and I end up building in those all the time, really. I can't get away from them. They're so nice. But Oasis Springs is very nice. I just need to learn to appreciate it more, I think, you know? Because I am not a desert person in real life. Not at all. I want the greenest kind of world that I could be in. That's what I want. I want to live in all green trees everywhere. So I'm just not naturally... I don't naturally lean towards a desert world, I guess. But I will need to be building in Oasis Springs a lot more, considering I'm trying to make a save file and fill up all these lots with builds, so eventually I'm going to have to start. I'm going to have to learn to love it, I suppose. Well guys, we are pretty much done with this video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I hope to talk to you all again very soon. Bye, everybody!